push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you here in World Headquarters in East Palestine. And it's brought to you by Shoreline, the guys that, and you can't really see it. I don't know if you can see it better. Let me see if there's, is there a guest camera there? See, you can see a little bit better there. So check out the turf there, and the guys from Shoreline did an awesome job. And as we continue to try to build on what we have going here, a little momentum, we gave you the tour. It's on social media. Everything's not finalized yet. It's a slow process, especially with all the games and such that we are trying to cover. But Mother Nature has other ideas here today. I think I've been slotted for 4 games today, and 3 games that got canceled, and I'm now on my 4th game. Thank God for South Range and Lakeview, flip-flopping from Lakeview to South Range because their field is playable, just trying to get in some games, because the later we get in this season, and trust me, we're going to get there faster than you think, it's going to be tough to make up all these games. So you're talking about, and most people will sit there and say, well, who cares? Who cares? If the kids don't, at least they got some games in. And I am an advocate for that, right? Love getting the games in. There's a thread going on right now on social media on one of my friends' pages. And there's people just kind of taking all that anger out on the keyboard and their frustrations about the games not being played. And with all due respect, I get it. I understand it. But what are you going to do? It's Northeast Ohio. We've talked at length about turfing all these fields, but that costs money. Where's that money going to come from? How do you monitor? I mean, would you, this might be the poll question today. Would you pay ticket prices to go watch baseball and softball games? Currently, I can think on one hand of teams locally that charge for baseball and softball. If the teams got turf, would you be okay paying a fee, let's say the same thing as football and basketball, $8 to $10 to go watch baseball games and softball games? I don't know where I'm at, so I can't tell you where you should be. If it means we're playing, okay. But are you okay with everybody having turf? Because even games on turf get rained out. I know that Austintown Fitch has played a lot more games than everybody else, and they've played a ton of home games because of this weather. But they still get rescheduled. I think yesterday was a prime example that they got rescheduled. Would you be okay going to baseball games and paying a fee if they were all turfed? I'm interested to hear what you have to say. We have a big show for you today. Coming up at 3:30, the sophomore sensation from Salem and the Virginia Tech commit for baseball, Mr. Carson Rhodes, will join the show. That's at 3:30. And of course, we start today's show the same way we start each and every day, with On This Day in Sports History. Let it roll. thought it was perfect that on this day in 2001, the NFL draft happened, and Virginia Tech, the same Virginia Tech that we will have a young man who is committed to the Hokies later on in the show, Carson Rhodes, they picked quarterback. Well, they picked from Virginia Tech, and it was Michael Vick, who was the first pick in the 2001 NFL draft, and he was chosen by the Atlanta Falcons. Vick went on to have a nice long career, abbreviated, obviously, due to some trouble that happened off the field. But you look at it, he played with the Falcons, was, I believe, had an MVP, was on the Madden cover, that's for sure. It was a Madden cheat code for so many. And then he played with the Eagles after that, and then, of course, the Steelers. I don't know. I can't remember if he played for a fourth team or not. And it escapes. I think it was just those three, but I could be wrong. So that happened on this day 21 years ago, the NFL draft. Michael Vick went first overall to the Atlanta Falcons. I remember that vividly because I thought that this guy is going to change the way that the quarterback position is in the NFL. And he did. Before him was a guy named Cordell Stewart, who was a very mobile quarterback. Not Michael Vick by any means, but Slash was able to do some mobile stuff. And now you've got, I mean, I think you have to have a mobile quarterback in the NFL. Vick was well before his time, like so long before his time. If Michael Vick was Michael Vick 10 years ago instead of 20, 21, Michael Vick could be the, do I say it? Do I say one of the greatest of all time? I think he at least puts Tom Brady on notice because the Falcons didn't know what to do with Vick. They had no idea of how to utilize and use him during games. And that's why, I mean, it's amazing he did what he did. It's amazing that he did what he did during his time. And obviously, you know, teams are still trying to figure out how to mobilize quarterbacks more than ever before. Josh Allen is, to me, one of the best mobile quarterbacks in the NFL. And you look at Lamar Jackson, and he's in that same category. I would argue Lamar Jackson has surpassed Michael Vick as the best mobile quarterback of all time. I would argue that. I see arguments from both sides, but I would lean on Jackson a little bit more than I would Vick at this point in his career. So, and I think Jackson still has a lot to prove, and I think that's why the ceiling's so high on this guy. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Scotty had a great comment yesterday that it really ate at me throughout the night. And his comment was basically Deshaun Watson has reset everything on the salary cap for quarterbacks. What you have to give a quarterback. What's Lamar Jackson going to want in a couple of years? What's Josh Allen going to? I mean, these players can still hold out. It's going to be interesting. All right. Amo says, may have to start playing triple headers this year. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I think, and I don't know anything about this. I haven't talked to any of our athletic director friends. I haven't talked to anybody from, you know, kind of the front office or the executive staffs of any of these schools. But you're going to have to make these games up, and especially the ones that are conference games that are getting rained out. So my question becomes, and again, if you have a problem, make sure you bring a solution with you right in your back pocket. Because here's the problem is some of these teams have only played 7 games. 7 games. We started on March 27th. We sit here almost a month later, and you've only had 7 opportunities to get on the field. It's going to be interesting. So the solution, my solution right off the jump is doubleheader Saturday, doubleheader Sunday. You get 4 games in a weekend. But again, that brings another problem. The arms are going to be toast. There's players and teams that don't have enough arms to get them through back-to-back doubleheaders during the weekend. That's going to be the biggest complaint. How do you get players that go Saturday and Sunday and they're playing 4 games? You're just not. You're not. And I don't know what the solution is to that. Because coaches and athletic directors are going to shy away, especially as we creep towards May 10th, 11th, whatever that is, where the tournament begins. There's a lot of coaches that are going to shy away from getting that many games in that short amount of time for a variety of reasons. But one of them is because they don't want to exhaust their players and cost themselves their postseason dreams in order to try to make up for regular season nightmares. And this certainly has been a nightmare. Not as bad as 2020. 2020 was as bad as it gets. COVID cut and cost everything, right? And that's the far end of the left spectrum. That is as bad as it can get. I would argue on a scale of 0 to 100, this 0 being the worst and 100 being the best, we're sitting somewhere between 20 and 25 on how tough this season has been on athletic directors, coaches, players, programs in general. It's been a challenge. It's been a challenge in so many factors because of the weather. And people are getting excited about the weather coming up. 70 degrees tomorrow, 80 degrees on Saturday, 82 on Sunday. You can get excited, but make sure you keep scrolling to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're back in the 40s. So it was, and listen, we got baseball in yesterday. We got softball in yesterday. I'm excited that we have a handful of games tonight. But it's not over. We are not anywhere out of the woods yet. We're not even close. And one of our friends, Andrew DiPaolo, who's a good friend of YSN, good friend of ours, Anthony, who runs our social media account, kind of, I don't want to say he got into it because they didn't get it. It was friendly fire is what it was. As Anthony was trying to make a joke, and I just like I didn't want to be an athletic director for the last 2 years. I don't want to be a weatherman ever. People talk, oh, weathermen can get everything wrong. They're only right 50% of the time. So we're umpires. Nobody's signing up for that. Nobody's signing up to be an umpire anymore. Because all people do today in our culture is give grief. Andrew DiPaolo is not in charge of the weather. Our friends at 21 WFMJ, Storm Tracker 21, they are not in charge of the weather. They don't draw this up on some sketch pad and say, oh, take this, people of Youngstown, people of America. We got to leave them alone. We're all in this together, right? We're all hooked in. At the end of the day, we're all going through it. Spring, and this is part of it. We've seen this before, maybe not to this extent, but we've seen this before where the weather is just not cooperative. And people can talk about turf all they want, and sure, I'm one of them. I'm one of the biggest advocates for turf. I want to see turf the same way that we're seeing turf in high school football fields. I want to see it for baseball, and I want to see it for softball. Do I know the challenges? I do. Because somebody's got to pay for it. And as a guy that makes his living off of advertisers, I get it. There's only so much money to go around. There's only so much advertising that you can do on a football field. But you look at this, you look at the opportunity, and Austintown has a great relationship, as do we, with Greenwood Chevrolet. And Greg Greenwood is one of the most generous individuals in the world. And I've said this to friends of Greg, and I would say that to him. Greg Greenwoods don't grow on trees. There's just not somebody in every community that hands out millions of dollars so you can build a turf facility. So that's going to force creative thinking. That's going to have to force creative thinking in our school districts. And here's the problem is the what about us rule. Right? The what about us rule. And I'm not talking about Title IX. I'm not talking about boys versus girls. I'm talking about program versus program. Because if somebody gets a turf field, well, what about us? Well, what do we get? If somebody gets, brand new graphics wrapped on the floor of a basketball court, what about us? What's in it for us? Our kids deserve this too. Not just the basketball players, not just the football players, not just the volleyball players. Baseball, softball, lacrosse, swimming, debate. We've gotten into this what about us thing. Instead of going out, and I love schools that allow programs to go raise their own funds. Football is going to always have a leg up. Football, people would watch, they would watch the worst football sometimes before they watch the best in any other sport. I would argue. Again, people will go watch football because it's what you're supposed, and quite honestly, it's a perfect setup from a marketing standpoint. Football's on a Friday night. You got nothing else to do. Everybody's there. Pardon me. Everybody's there. It's a situation where nobody can watch anybody gain traction anymore without saying, well, we're getting slighted. They can't have that because we don't get that. Sometimes you got to get off your tuchus and work for what you want. I know people are tired of fundraisers. I know they are. I'm one of them. I'm sorry. You should not have to sell candles for T-ball. It should not happen. If you're paying $70 or whatever it is nowadays to play T-ball, what the hell do you get in T-ball? You get a shirt and a hat. You're paying $70 for that. Why do we have to have fundraisers for your son or your daughter or my son or my daughter's T-ball team? Doesn't make sense to me. Now, on the other side, if we're raising funds for a trip down to Sarasota or Myrtle Beach or a trip, to send our players to camp, I do understand that. I get that. But if your school or your team is sponsored, right? So if you're sponsored by Little Joe's Pizza down the street, you don't need to have additional fundraisers. And on top of that, I'm not so certain that you need to and now fundraisers, it's if you don't raise this much, parents are responsible for this much. What? What is that? We're trying to raise funds for a turf football field or a turf baseball field or a turf whatever that prize is that you're trying to get. If that fundraiser doesn't raise that amount of money, you don't get it, or you have to wait. There should be incentive. It should not be a dictatorship where, hey, by the way, little Jimmy, if you don't go out and sell $400 of popcorn, your parents are going to have to give us $400. Just how it is. That's not fundraising. That's captivity. That is dictatorship. That is taxation without representation. Take that, sixth grade social studies. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. So for everybody that's out there complaining about the weather, I get it. I understand it. But what's the solution? One gentleman said cancel the season. Move it to fall. How many football players are going to want to play football and baseball in the fall? We had this conversation umpteen times over the last 2 years. Move football to the spring. Nope. Kenny Chesney didn't sing a song called The Boys of Spring. It isn't going to work. There's going to be give and take. And guess what? The bigger sports are going to win. Bigger sports are going to win. You're going to have limited availability for baseball players, softball players, because softball and volleyball, a lot of them the same. It's going to be a challenge. It's just not fair. Siggy chiming in says spring sports have a participation problem in the spring season alone. They do. They do, because now you have, and I'm not complaining about this, but it's a matter of fact. Track coaches have figured out the recruitment process. You link up with the football team and you go that route. Football coaches want their kids to be faster, stronger. They're not going to put them in baseball unless they're making their own decisions. They're going to put them in track. A lot of football coaches now are secondary coaches on the track team. Why do you think that is? Because they want them running in a straight line. They want to increase their 40-yard dash. Or better their 40-yard dash. Increase probably isn't the right terminology. Participation is going to be an issue, one way or the other. Because I'm going to be honest, Chris, and you can back me up on this or not, but the reality is, to everybody out there watching, kids are going to get tired of getting games canceled and frustrated with getting games canceled. If you've had 30 opportunities to play the game that you love and you only get 7, and you are basically banned and barred to the gymnasium to take ground balls and batting practice off of a machine, maybe you get some live pitching behind an L screen. It's boring. It is not baseball. It's simulated. It's a challenge. Challenges need to be overcome. But we've got to work together on this. Saying that the season needs canceled, or saying that the season, or we need turf. This is what we need. We need people that are saying, okay, here's a solution. If we can't play here, we're going to play here instead. We're going to open up this place. If it costs them $100, it costs them $100 or $200. Each team splits it $100 apiece. Where are you getting that $100? Well, the same place that you're getting the $400,000 to build your own turf facility. I think you can pass the hat and get $100 faster than you would $400,000. Just a thought. Just a thought. I'm interested to see what the solution is to the problems here with Northeast Ohio and everywhere. I mean, you watch the Today Show, you see it's everywhere. But they're playing in Myrtle Beach. That's why the Myrtle Beach, we've said it for the last 2 weeks, that's why the Myrtle Beach trips and trips like it are so important. Go down south, you might get one game canceled, but you're not going to get them all canceled. The weather's too nice down there for the majority of the time. You're talking 10% against 99%. 10% of the time it gets canceled in South Carolina. 99% of the time it gets canceled here. You've got to be able to combat those numbers somehow. There's got to be a way that we can even things out to get things going without spending $400,000 at every single location. So my solution is places like And again, this isn't necessarily the only answer, but you look at Ysn Park. Ysn's had just as much trouble, and the workers have worked their asses off to make sure that if it's possible to play, they're going to play. If it's possible, they're going to. Today, another slew of games canceled. Not the fault of the workers, not the fault of the park. But if Ysn or a facility similar to Ysn were to turf and light fields, I don't see why you couldn't do what PBR does. You can play from morning till night on the weekends. There's already 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock games at Ysn Park. I'm telling you, you turf those 3 fields, right? Or if somebody has the funding to go and turf a facility like that, baseball, softball, Sandusky, I want to say, has a wonderful facility that does it. I'm interested. Let's catch up on some comments here. Siggy says, absolutely right. They can go do JO volleyball or AAU hoops. No weather cancellations there. Amo says, there are a lot of tired parents and players right now. Unfortunate, but until there's a dome in Stream City, USA, it will happen. Yep. And the fam peeps. Hi, YSN. What are we talking about? Well, if you missed anything, fam peeps, you missed a whole lot. In about 5 minutes, Carson Rhodes from Salem going to join us. We'll talk about what it's been like from his standpoint. He's just a sophomore, so he didn't really have to go through the pandemic side of things in his high school career because he played last year, and obviously Salem did very well. We're going to talk to him about what it's like this year for him, the frustration, because I believe he's actually cutting out on practice a little bit to talk to us, that we did get okayed by Coach DeBar. So we will talk to Carson in just a few minutes. We take a break, come back on the Ysn Power Hour. Carson should be around, or at least on the line. We'll see if he's here, and we'll talk a lot of baseball, a lot of kind of what he's going through, the recruiting process for him, and so much more. You're watching the Power Hour right here on your sports network.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley with you, talking a lot of stuff about the weather and the frustrations of not getting games in. And now we open up the YSN line to one of my favorites here in the area, only a sophomore. I don't want to call him a baby because I don't think that's given him enough justice. But Carson Rhodes, already committed to Virginia Tech. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Carson, I know you're skipping out of practice right now. I'm getting you out of there just for a few minutes. Talk to me about the frustration of having to not play. You guys were scheduled to play a game today, obviously, had to scale it back, and now you're back in the gym. Talk to me about the frustrations of that.
Yeah, I mean, especially it sucks when you go down to Myrtle too, because great weather there, had great games. You come back, play a game yesterday, and then you got to wait 4 more days. Just sucks.
Do you think that there's, I mean, from I don't want to say regulation standpoint, but like trying to get into that rhythm, right? Of getting a game in, waiting your 5 days to pitch or things of that nature. Does the weather throw a wrench in that? And how frustrating is it for you to have to play the guessing game and look at your apps and the weather apps, and are we going to play today? Are we going to try to get a game in with somebody else? I mean, from your standpoint, you're kind of helpless because it's up to the coaches and obviously the grounds crews all around. What is that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because you like today I was supposed to pitch, so I'm getting dialed in, I'm getting ready, but next thing you know, you're canceled. Then we're going to play another team. So I'm getting ready to pitch again. You're canceled again. And then you got to wonder, what do I got to do a bullpen today? Am I throwing tomorrow? It's all over the place.
Frustrating for a teenager that's already frustrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys are naturally already high on testosterone and ready to go.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with last night. Gavin goes and throws a no. For you as a teammate, what does that mean to you to watch one of your teammates succeed? You obviously are known as the Salem's ace. You take that over after your brother last year leaves, goes to Youngstown State. But when you've got a guy like Gavin who works his tail off and gets a no, especially against the EBC opponent, what was that like for you? Take us through that.
Oh, it's awesome. Like, especially being a part of it in the field, you got to make great plays. You know, one of the last plays in the last inning, Caden Bird over there at third dove, laid out, made a great play. But especially, I mean, seeing Gavin, great friend of mine, seeing him throw a no-hitter like that, it's just awesome because, I mean, everybody wants to do that.
Is it one of those things that you see in the movies that everybody works 10 times as hard in the field to make sure that it's going on and, you know, that this thing happens?
100%. Last year when Lane threw that no-hitter against West Branch, we said there's always about 2 plays in the field that are just ridiculous that always happen in a no-hitter, and Caden Burt's was definitely one of them.
All right, so let's talk about what goes on in the dugout during a no-hitter. Do you guys talk about it, or do you leave Gavin alone, or do you leave Lane alone when he had it last year, or do you guys talk about it openly in the dugout?
See, I'll talk about it, but I try not to bring the pitcher in there because it's a little jinx. But right before that play Caden Burt made, I said, "Hey man, he's got a no-hitter, so we got to dial in here." But yeah, usually you don't want to talk to pitcher about that.
You guys are big on Game Changer, using technology and utilizing all that stuff. I know DeBar loves the hype videos and things of that nature. All of your coaches really do. I think they are the reason it's 643, right? So
yeah.
So talk to me about how you guys utilize technology in your game and how it helps elevate yours.
Oh, it helps a lot, especially like last year, seeing that before a game, like going to play Canfield, going to play Hoban, whatever. You see a hype video, all of our highlights, everything you've done this season. It's awesome to see all that.
We're here with Carson Rhodes, the Salem baseball. I mean, you are the guy, right? You are the face of Salem baseball right now. As a sophomore, does it take away from the seniors? Do you try to stay in the background as much as you can so that way they have their moment in the sun?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, great player. Everybody's a great player on this team, but I just try not to take their sunlight. I mean, I don't try and make everything about myself. Obviously, make it about the team.
All right, let's talk about your intensity. I mean, you and Lane are one of the two of the most intense individuals when you're in between those lines that I've ever seen. But outside the lines, you guys are just bros. You're chill. You're just laid back. What is it about when you get on the field that you guys just turn it up to 11?
I mean, whenever you cross those lines, you gotta put all your effort into the game. Like outside, we obviously have friends from every team. Pretty much, you play your friends outside, but once you get in that line, everybody's an enemy.
All right, so let's talk about Myrtle Beach a little bit. Myrtle Beach sounds like you guys had a fun time. You were only down there for what, 3 days, and you played
Yeah.
3 games. What
Yeah.
was that like for you to? I'm assuming you drove down.
Mm-hmm.
So take me through the process from leaving Salem, getting down to Myrtle Beach, and back up to Salem. I know you guys encountered some snow on the way back because I did the same.
Oh yeah. I mean, the drive is obviously brutal, but obviously you just want to play baseball. Like we only got 3 games in. I feel like we could have got, or I wish we would have got more, but I mean, drive's terrible. But once you get down there, get to that warm weather, play some good baseball teams, it's awesome. But then drive back's probably even worse, honestly.
Did you feel like you guys got some momentum down there? That like you weren't playing bad baseball. You're just having some bad breaks up here, and all of a sudden you go down to Myrtle Beach and you show the world who you are down there from Salem, Ohio, and then you come back and I feel like you guys really turned a corner.
Yeah, 100% got some momentum from down there. I mean, I feel like we found our bats a little bit, and obviously that showed against Minerva yesterday, but everybody pitched well down there. We had a couple guys who haven't really pitched before came in, did their job. So, yeah, 100% got some momentum from that.
Word on the street is you guys went to Dave & Buster's while you were down there.
Oh, yeah.
Who racked up the most tickets?
Well, I mean, we all kind of combined and won. We got a little team massage gun. So
A team what?
massage gun.
Oh, like one of those.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
had those there?
Oh yeah, it was like 18,000 tickets or something like that.
18,000 tickets?
Oh, we racked it up. Me and
Okay,
quarterback Jackson Johnson just breaking records on that football machine. So
the American Missile.
oh yeah.
So what was the nickname you were going with during basketball season? You wanted everybody
See,
to by?
it was the Prodigy, but haven't really came out with that yet. So
Oh, we're trying to keep that under wraps. Is that what's going
oh,
on?
I don't know, but who knows?
All right. So when you're looking at this team, and I asked you who had the most tickets. Who's got the most game on the sticks?
Ooh. I mean, I can't lie. Blaze Xline, great gaming guy. I'd probably have to go with Blaze. He's got his own little PC too. So
He got his own PC. Did he
oh
bring it
yeah,
down to Myrtle?
no,
Okay. Is that something you like? Is there a game that you guys all play that you try to take the belt off each other?
yeah. Most of the time we'll play the show.
Who's your go-to on the show?
I don't. We usually just do that. Random teams. Got to go with the randoms.
All right. So
You got people picking the Dodgers and the Braves.
who's
Like it's
picking
not
the
fun.
Dodgers? Who's the cheater?
Oh, you want to know who's picking the Dodgers? I played him the other day. Noah Marshall loves picking the Dodgers.
And who are you playing with?
Random. When he was the Dodgers, I think I was the Angels.
See, that's not much better though.
The Angels, but I random it. I did it random. He
Beat
just
him with
picked
the
them.
Pirates, and you got some bragging rights.
Oh, I mean the Pirates, they're terrible.
They
Not
stink.
this year. They're not that bad this year.
This year's all about player development. You know that.
Yeah.
We're not winning anywhere. We'll be lucky to win 60 games.
Yeah, probably. But
I know you're a Pirates fan. I know you're big time all across the board. Pittsburgh. You're a Pittsburgh family.
Yeah.
Talk to me about when you look at guys that you want to be like in professional sports, because obviously that's your goal, is to be a major leaguer someday. Who do you want to be like on and off the field?
a guy I've always liked. He's not a pitcher, but Starling Marte. Ever since he was in the Pirates, I've always loved him. So I'm number 6. But if I got to go with like pitchers, I mean, obviously not off the field, but Trevor Bauer on the field I think is sweet. Same with like Stroman, those guys.
I like how you preface that. Not off the field, but on the field.
Yeah.
You and your brother. Let's talk about your relationship. It's a very special relationship. You guys are very close. Your family is one of the best families I know. You're all very close. What was it like for you to watch your brother lead this team last year to so much success, and then walk away and then see the success he's having at YSU? What's it like for you? Do you get? I don't want to say you don't get jealous. Do you get envious? Do you try to kind of fill in his shoes to what he's done over the last 4 years at Salem and see what he's doing at the next level and try to emulate that?
I mean, he's obviously did great last year. He's doing great at YSU. Obviously, I wouldn't do the stuff he did because, I mean, had great seasons, but I just tried to do my own thing, But seeing him just succeed is awesome because I always knew he could do it. Like, ever since he was little, like, maybe on the teams he wasn't the best player, but I always knew he had it in him.
What is the one thing that you have that your brother doesn't?
Gotta go swagger.
You've got the swagger. He doesn't have swagger.
100%.
So if you're swaggy, what is Lane? Because I don't know anybody that's swaggier than Lane when it comes to pitching.
Well, yeah, pitching wise, but like other than that,
You're talking off the field.
Yeah, off the field. There you go.
What does Lane have that you don't have?
Nice baseball pants.
He's got the swag and you have the swagger.
Yeah. But like my pants this year are kind of baggy, but
you want
not
them
a
tight?
fan. Yes.
Oh,
He had them nice tight ones last year. I like them.
Get them all hemmed up.
Yeah. I mean, Donnie Ash's grandma did a pair of pants for me, but the grays are a little baggy on me.
What is it about this day and age that kids want tighter pants and tighter shorts and all of that? Like, that's crazy to me.
They look sweet.
Oh, it's all about the looks, not how not how it feels.
Oh, it feels better too. I just feel like baggy, you can't really do much,
All right, so I see your hat there. Quaker Sam has made a comeback. You guys had the SQ last year, the one that you're wearing on your chest right now. Do you like Quaker Sam on top?
Oh, I love this hat. This is one of my favorites.
Is it fire?
Coach DeBar like asked us what hats we're thinking, and he brought out like a bunch of old hats. This is from, I think, Lane's freshman year. And I was like, gotta go with that one. That one's sweet.
You guys are, and you're another one of those teams that's like Oregon. You got 30 different uniforms and 30 different varieties that you can mix it up. What's your favorite? Like, do they let you pick any of these?
Yeah,
like the pitcher typically gets to pick the uniform.
Pitcher,
right?
Yeah, pitcher. I like the black on the white, but obviously the grays are sweet too. But when I pitch, I like to go with black on white.
You guys have reds too, right?
Yeah, we retired those things though.
You're tired of the Reds?
They went down to the JV team.
Oh man, so that means you guys got another uniform set coming, right? Isn't that what that means?
Yeah, I think so.
You gonna be able to pick that?
Oh, I'd hope, but I heard DeBar ain't a fan of the cream. That's what I was thinking, but
you like cream? He doesn't.
Oh yeah, yeah, love the cream.
All right, let's talk about Virginia Tech, man. You really broke this earlier this year as a sophomore. Does that take the pressure off you, or does that increase the pressure that you put on yourself by knowing that you're a D1 commit and everybody's going to know that every game you play the rest of the way?
I feel like a little bit of both, like obviously I just go out there and play now. Like coaches aren't coming to watch me anymore, but on the other side, like how you're saying it, like obviously people know I'm going D1, target on my back,
All right, we got a question from Chris Sigler. Did you actually know what a Hokie was prior to your commitment to Virginia Tech?
I mean,
do you know what a Hokie is now?
Yeah, it's a turkey.
Okay. Did you know that before? You can be honest. Nobody's going to see
so. If I'm going to be honest, I think so, but I'm not all too sure.
Are you going to try to get some? Oh, you probably already have some Virginia Tech swag. What's your favorite Virginia Tech thing you have right now?
I got a nice little maroon shirt. Just says Virginia Tech baseball. Like that.
Just keeping it simple.
Oh, yeah.
All right. From your standpoint, you're seeing so many of these different kids. Obviously the Canfields of the world have littered with D1. Is that always the goal, is to play D1? Or is there another part of you that says, I'm looking for playing time? What went into your decision at Virginia Tech?
I mean, when I went there, it was just the atmosphere was awesome, and the coaches, we had a great relationship, and the stuff they told me like made me seem like I'd be playing pretty quick when I got there. So, I mean, that really all went into the decision too.
Do you think that gave you a little bit of confidence knowing that, now you're committed and you're locked in, you're focused, and you don't have to worry about that stuff for 3 years?
Yeah, 100%. ups my confidence a ton.
And you're gonna be pitcher, right? Or are they gonna look at you for two-way?
Yeah, I'm just pitching there.
Well, PO, man.
Oh yeah.
Get used to running those poles. That's all you're gonna do for a while.
Yeah.
Has Lane given you any wisdom about pitching at the next level and the differences?
I mean, yeah, he's told me a lot of stuff about it. So,
is there anything that stands out to you that you're trying to maybe get ahead of the curve now?
I mean, the biggest thing I feel like is it's so much different. He says, like, sometimes you don't know when you're going in, you know, like you got to get ready in 5 minutes, comparing to high school where you got an hour to get ready. Like, it's just so much different from that standpoint.
All right, a couple more questions with Carson Rhodes. I know I'm keeping you from practice, so I apologize. Everybody else is applauding me. All right, what's your walk-up theme this year?
Walk-up song?
Yeah.
It's called Surround Sound.
Do you know who it's by?
21 Savage.
Okay.
It's
Respect.
nice.
I don't know it, so I'm going to have to go look it up after.
It's a good one.
I asked your coach this earlier, Coach DeBar, and he didn't have an answer for me because he says he's getting chubby. Because there's a picture out there of him that he sent me that I now have. And it is now every time he calls me or texts me, that's the picture that comes up. But I asked him if there was a movie of the Salem Quakers made in Hollywood, who would be playing him? And I said Bradley Cooper because he just looked Rico Suave on the show today. Who's playing Carson Rhodes?
Oh, man. See, I'm not a big movie guy myself, so I got about no clue there.
It could be a TV show, like anybody. Is there any actor that could play you and nail you? Just absolutely hit it dead on.
What's that guy from Major League? Pitcher, Ricky Vaughn, that guy.
Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, that guy's sweet.
What, Charlie Sheen? Sheen to play you?
I'm not a big. I told you, not a big movie guy.
All right, that's fair enough. Fair enough. All right,
first guy that really came to my mind there.
All right, you got one ticket to go to a concert for the rest of your life. You only get to go to one. Where are you going? It can be someone that is living, a band that's living, or deceased.
Well, I'm a rap guy, so probably Lil Uzi Vert.
Okay. So you're not a movie guy. We got that established, right?
Not a movie guy.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Step Brothers.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a great movie.
I think Will Ferrell could play you.
You think?
I think he could play you. I think he
All
nailed
right.
it.
All right. Yeah, there you go.
He's got
There
some
you go.
swagger.
There you go.
He knows baseball. Last question for you, man. I know, again, we referenced your family already here on this player profile with Carson Rhodes. Talk to me about your family, like special group of people. Your dad and your uncle are announcing you, hopefully for the next 3 years, because they do such an awesome job. They love Quaker baseball. They love Salem, but most of all, they love you, man. Why is this family so special to you? And why do you have so much to give back to them over the next 30, 40 years of you trying to make the most of your experience?
I mean, they've put so much effort into me. Everybody's so supportive, So, I mean, I feel like that's the biggest part of it. Everybody's always there for me. Like, have a big game, everybody's there texting me, Just everybody's so supportive.
I love it, man. I appreciate you so much and wish so much for you. And we've got so many more of these to come. You wouldn't believe, but we will be making sure that you know what a Hokie is. And Siggy chiming in saying, going to Virginia Tech, you better get familiar with Enter Sandman. So,
I've already seen that. I was there for a football game this fall.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Get back to practice and get better, and hopefully we'll see you in the Quakers deep in the playoffs here in just a few weeks, man. Get on that baseball field, would you?
All right. Yep. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
There he goes. Carson Rhodes, one of my favorite dudes in the world. He's so laid back, and for a sophomore, let's wind back and remember what we were like as sophomores, right? What it was like, and when a news media outlet interviewed you, how awkward it was because you didn't want to say the wrong thing. Carson Rhodes, he's a team guy, team player, loves his team. He's got swagger. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but he's learning the ropes as he goes. You heard him say it. He's not his brother. He appreciates everything that Lane Rhodes did, his brother, but he's his own guy, and he's trying to write his own story. And if you don't appreciate that, I don't know what you can appreciate, because my guy is so much room between him and the glass, to shatter that glass ceiling, because he's going to. Tons of talent, already popping the gun at, I think, 94, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere close to that. And he can do it with the stick too. My guy, look at the write-up today from the no-no. Carson Rhodes, right in the midst of that story, putting in some RBIs and putting in some stick time. So we appreciate him stopping by the show today. Tomorrow, we will have Logan Cormel, who just signed his letter of intent to wrestle at the next level. We'll have him on tomorrow and during the show. It sounds like we're going to have some Columbiana Clippers baseball as well here on the Power Hour. I saw Jenna McClish sneak in a little comment there. Big Virginia Tech kind of guy with the turkey emoji, which I didn't know existed. So you learn something new every day, and McClish is the kind of young lady who knows all about the emojis. These kids and the emojis are ridiculous. I'm learning. I'm trying to catch up, but I'm like 7 years behind already. So please forgive me. Again, thanks to Carson Rhodes for joining the show here on the Ysn Power Hour. Again, I love having guests. I love talking to these kids very candidly. While it is about sports and the X's and the O's, we want to make it more about who they are, their appreciation for sports, and kind of what's going through their minds and their heads. Because let's be honest, folks, even if you're a 37-year-old like I am, even, I guess that's old now, but even if you're an old head like I am, we didn't go through what these kids are going through on a regular basis. We didn't have half of the stuff that they have to take their eye off the ball. No pun intended. These kids are battling. They're battling, and everybody's battling for their attention, because as marketing goes, and we know, if you have the kids, you have the parents. If you have the parents, you have their dollars, for lack of better words, their disposable income. Kids are a very valuable part of today's society for so many reasons, for so many different people, right? Because they are the future. If you get their attention, you're going to get the attention of everybody else. So these kids are going through so much. Carson is, again, just a sophomore, and he has to battle so many things that even his brother, who just graduated, will never have to battle in high school. The testing and all this stuff. When we went to high school, yes, it was a little bit about testing, but it was more about learning. It was about education. And I'm not saying it isn't now, but schools are graded based on test results. They're not basing it on which kids are going out and having the most successful careers. It's tough. It's a tough world these kids are growing up in. And I have a deep appreciation for what they're going through, and not trying to be one of those guys that yells, "Get off my lawn," constantly. So let's get to, that sounded like a spark in itself, but let's get to the YSN and Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? It's the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our friends over on the campus of in North Lima, and of course on the web at dickieelectric.com. All right. By now, you probably have seen it if you're a sports fan. I woke up this morning, and yesterday they did the whole, like, you don't have to wear the masks on flights and all this stuff. Not even 24 hours into it, some dude just decides that he's going to get inebriated and pick a fight with a guy on an airplane. Okay. We've seen this song and dance before. You kind of annoy the dude in front of you. You're kicking his seat. You're doing whatever. If the dude in front of me was a world-class, world champion, heavyweight, whatever of the world, I'm probably not kicking his seat or asking him for a selfie or annoying him, because if you didn't see it, what I'm referencing is Mike Tyson beat the living hell out of some dude on an airplane going from San Francisco to Florida. This dude, apparently, this drunken individual decided that he was going to he's going to ask Mike Tyson for a selfie. Mike Tyson obliged. He was cool about it. They took a few pictures, as I understand, as that they're all floating around the internet now. And also floating around the internet is this really bad video, bad quality, that is, of someone taping Mike Tyson, just beating the hell out of this guy, like leaning over the seat and just raining down haymakers, like Ralphie from Christmas Story. And then Tyson just gets off the plane because he knew he did wrong. Like, in that situation, the person that's popular, the celebrity, it's a no-win situation for them. And my buddy Kelly Pavlik, former champion of the world, by the way, said this stuff happens a lot to people in celebrity statuses because the public feels like they can just do what they want and say what they want and get away with it. I'm not a celebrity by any stick of the imagination, by any stretch. But it is a little bit weird. And I'm not saying don't approach me. I'm not saying don't approach celebrities, because I love seeing and talking to people that love what we do here at YSN. The only thing I would really ask is that you tell us who you are, because you see me, but I can't see you all the time. Here at YSN, you see us, we can't see you. And while we appreciate the fact of the matter that you love what we do or support what we do or don't support what we do and want to tell us about it, just tell us who you are. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm not trying to big time anybody or big shot anybody. But like, just coming up to us and just talking or whatever. I'm not going to knock you out like Mike Tyson if you ask for a selfie or anything like that. But we also are like, we're people, right? I go home to a loving wife and 2 kids, and that's we're human. I forget things. I make mistakes, all that stuff. And everybody knows that. If you've ever watched this show, you understand without a shadow of a doubt, I make a ton of mistakes. But there's this weird thing going on, and I'm not saying from YSN, let's skip back to the Mike Tyson thing, that we can treat people however we want. If you're ever going to poke the bear, make sure that bear is not Mike Tyson. Make sure he's not going to throw some of the heaviest punches that has ever been, that God ever gave and gifted to somebody. Make sure you're not making that guy mad. Because now this guy's a victim, right? Now he's claiming that he's a victim, even though there's all kinds of people that support not necessarily beating this guy up, but support Mike Tyson's decision to say enough is enough. Can we just go back to having common courtesy? Do we all need to go back and read the Berenstein Bears? Is that what needs to happen? Go read them. Go read them, and we'll get back with how to treat people. COVID cannot be to blame for this. This has been happening long before COVID. Treat people with respect. That's all there is. And maybe they won't beat the hell out of you. That's our show for the day. Again, thanks to Carson Rhodes for stopping by for a few minutes. It means so much. And obviously, young man with a very, very bright future. Tomorrow, again, Logan Cormel will be on the show, as well as some Columbiana baseball players getting ready for prom. So we'll talk to them about some difficulties of that balance, baseball and babes, here on the YSN Power Hour. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the network. YSN thanks you